Hi, and welcome to day 2 of Space Academy. I'm Captain Mike, and I will guide you through today's events. I hope you enjoyed day 1 and were able to plant some seeds, do some exercise, because good astronauts need to do some exercise, and that you enjoyed The Final Frontier, our very own space drama. I wonder, have you come up with any of your jokes? It would be great to hear if you have, and see some of the pictures of the things that you've created. Do send them to us here at Space Academy by at our email address, spaceacademy2021@watlingvalley.org.uk. That's spaceacademy2021@watlingvalley.org.uk. But here's a joke for you today. What did the astronaut do after he crashed into the moon? He apologized. Why did the alien borrow a computer? To log into Facebook, of course. And what do you get if you cross Santa Claus with a spaceship? A UFO. Ho, 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 ho. But I'm sure you can come up with some better ones than that.
Right, good morning everyone, welcome to Space Academy. What we are going to get you doing right now is we're going to get you doing some activity. We're going to expel that energy. So make sure you have lots of space. Go outside if you can. Make sure no one is near you. And we will begin. Right, let's start with some marching. Get those legs nice and high. Get those arms pumping, and we're going to go do this for about a minute. Keep going. Right, we're going to move on to our next exercise, so get those thumbs in, those arms into fists, and we're going to make some circles. Other way. Next we're going to pop our arms right in front of us, and we're making some more circles, starting nice and small and making them go bigger and bigger. Let's go the other way. Good job guys, get them as big as you can. Right, this time we're moving on to my favourite move. So we are going to do the grapevine. We're going to go one leg behind and then in front, and then clap and jump and back the other way. Let's see how quick you can go now. Going. Now we're going to move on to some rocket launches. So you're going to go down, down, and then jump as high as you can. Good job, guys. Right, last couple of these. Great work, guys. Right, we're going to move on to some lunges now. So point your toe in one direction and push down. Keep hold of it. Then we're going to turn the other way. So we're going to push forwards, hold it. And then we're going to move to the front. So get your foot facing towards the camera. Alright, last exercise, let's do some running on the spot. Go as fast as you can. Get those rocket legs going. Well done, guys. Give yourselves a big clap. I hope you have a fantastic day and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
I'm going to step off the limb. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful from here. It has a stark beauty all its own.
Hi everyone, Commander Wilson signing on here for our second day, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the dream of space. Have you ever had a dream, something that you really wish you could do, or a goal that you wish you could succeed at? Well, I mentioned yesterday I love space, and I'm sure you can tell that by look at this, what I'm wearing. And I've always dreamed of going to space. And you know, we haven't actually been going to space for that long. Do you know when the first person went into space? It was in 1962. Now, that probably seems like a really long time ago. However, your parents maybe were alive then. Your grandparents definitely were probably alive then. Think about that. It's not really that long ago then, is it? So that was when the first person went to space. Now, do you know who that was? Did you say Yuri Gagarin? Yes? Excellent. No? Well, to be fair, sometimes we don't talk about Yuri Gagarin as much. He was a cosmonaut, a Russian astronaut. And the Russians were really good. In fact, they still are. They're really good at getting to space. They do it all the time. And they have a really good track record, especially over the past 50 years or so. So Yuri Gagarin was the first person in space, and we were hoping in the US to get our astronauts first, but we weren't. The Russians were also first to have somebody orbit, and then have the first woman in space. Now, you might have heard of the space race, and based on all these facts I've told you so far, you probably think that Russia should have won the space race. But the ultimate goal was getting to the moon. And the US landed 2 men on the moon in July. Actually on July 20th of 1969. So about 52 years ago. Just over. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first 2 people on the moon. After they were on the moon, 10 more astronauts visited. The last visit was in 1972. You know what? Since then, nobody's been to the moon. Which is kind of interesting, don't you think? I always thought that by this point in my life, we'd be back in the moon, going to the moon all the time. And that I would have a good chance of getting to space one day. That was, like I told you, that was my dream. Still my dream. Have you ever thought about going to space? Now, maybe you've noticed that there's been lots of people in the news recently who've been going to space. Now, they haven't been going for very long. They've just done a quick up and back down, which is what the first American in space did, Alan Shepard. The first one was Richard Branson, and he had that really cool space plane. So it took off from the runway, and then they flew up really high, and then the rocket part dropped off, and they went up, boom, went to space. They were there for a few minutes, they came back down, and then they landed on a runway just like an airplane. Maybe then did you see the Blue Origin? So that was Virgin Galactic with Richard Branson. A couple weeks later, Jeff Bezos, the guy who founded Amazon, and I'm sure everybody knows about Amazon, he went to space with 3 other people, including a woman whose dream was always to go to space, and she had trained as an astronaut in the 1960s, but was never chosen because she was a woman. She got to go to space. So cool. Her dream was realized. Well, they went to space in a rocket, and theirs took off. They went up, their capsule detached, they were in space for a few minutes, and they came back down and they landed. Now, doesn't that sound cool? Maybe one day we'll all go to space. Maybe by the time you're my age, going to space is just what you do on your summer holidays. Who knows? But no matter what, it's really good to have a dream, isn't it? So whatever your dream is, let's work hard. And I hope you liked today's space fact. Well, this is Commander Wilson signing off. See you next time.
So yesterday in the story, we heard about how King Nebuchadnezzar, or King Nezzar as we called him for short, went and attacked Jerusalem and managed to capture some of God's people and take them back to Babylon, where he had his kingdom and his palace. King Nezzar asked his advisor to choose some of God's people to train to become court officials. The advisor chose Daniel and his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Rakshak and Benny. And they worked hard and studied hard for 3 years, and God helped them to do that. And at the end of the 3 years, when they came before King Nezzar to be tested, they passed with flying colours. King Nezzar was so pleased that he immediately appointed them to the royal court as officials. And we heard how they particularly asked to be vegetarian because they couldn't eat the food in the palace because it went against what God had told them to eat. And they stood firm for what they believed. And God stayed faithful to them. So we're going to hear the next chapter in Daniel's story. You can find it in the Bible at Daniel chapter 2. So a long time ago, in the time of the Old Testament, before Jesus came on the earth, there was a really powerful king, King Nebuchadnezzar, or King Nezzar as we like to call him. One morning, King Nezzar woke with a start. He had such a weird dream that it seemed as if he was on an alien planet. The king had such a terrible dream that he couldn't go back to sleep again, and because he was worrying about it. It felt as if it was so real, but he didn't know what it all meant. So because he couldn't get back to sleep, King Nezzar decided none of his officials would sleep. So he called all his counselors, all his advisors, all his magicians, and all his wise men. And he said to them, I'm really worried about a dream I've had, and I want to know what it means. Can you imagine having not just advisors, but magicians and wise men helping you to make decisions when you're this great leader? It's not something that we would recognize here, but and we would think it would be very strange if our prime minister started to have magicians as advisors. But Babylon was very different. And certainly in those days, it was extremely different. And so King Nezer had all these officials with him. Well, the counselors, the advisors, the magicians, and the wise men, they all said to him, okay, then tell us what your dream is, and we will explain it to you. King Nezer said, no, I'm not doing that. I want you to tell me what my dream was, and then to tell me what it meant. Otherwise, I'm going to chop you all into little pieces and burn down your homes. But if you can tell me what my dream was and what it means, well, of course, then I will reward you highly, and you'll be greatly honored. The counselors, the advisors, the magicians, and the wise men, they almost laughed. Well, tell us what your dream is then, and we can explain it to you. But the king said, no, you need to tell me what the dream was, and then you can prove that you can interpret it for me. But how is it possible? They said. How is it possible for us to know what you dreamed? No counselor, advisor, magician, or wise man could do that. The only people who could do that, they said, was a god. And gods don't live among human beings. When the king heard the counselors complaining and refusing to do what he wanted to do, he was absolutely furious. So King Nezer issued an order to kill all his counselors, all his advisors, all his magicians, and all his wise men. And even though they weren't there at the time, the counselors, advisors, magicians, and wise men included Daniel and his friends. The first Daniel, Rakshak and Benny knew about it, was when Arioch, the king's official, came to fetch them to be killed. Daniel said to him, hang on a minute, why is the king given such a cruel order? So Arioch explained what had happened, and Daniel rushed off to see the king. He said to King Nezer, give me more time and I will be able to explain your dream for you. So the king agreed because he liked Daniel, and Daniel went straight back home and told his friends what had happened. And he said to them, we need to pray to God that God will explain this mystery so that we and the others won't be put to death. So they prayed. And that same night, God showed Daniel the answer to the mystery. Wow! Take me to the king, said Daniel to Arioch. I will tell him the dream. And so he did. And the king was amazed. Daniel got everything exactly right. It was all about some form of giant statue. This is the dream, said Daniel. And now I will tell your majesty what it all means. A smile began to grow over the king's face as Daniel explained about him being this head of gold on the statue. He was ruling over the greatest empire of all. Daniel then explained that the silver body and the silver arms of the statue was meant to represent another empire that would come after the king, but it wouldn't be quite as great as King Nezzar's. Then the bronze waist was yet a third empire, which would rule over the whole earth, hence around the waist. And finally, there would be a strong fourth empire that came. It would be divided though, and it would be weakened. And so it become like iron and clay. And during this time, a new kingdom would be established. And that kingdom would be very, very special, because that kingdom would never come to an end. The great God is telling your majesty, Daniel said, what will happen in the future. After this, King Nezzar bowed down and ordered offerings to be made to Daniel. He gave him a high position, saying, "Your God is the greatest of all gods, the Lord over kings." So Daniel, Rakshak and Beni, well, they were saved from death, along with all the other officials, advisors, magicians, and wise men. But will Daniel, Rakshak and Beni, will they be able to stand up to the challenges ahead for them? What other tests of courage, faith, and being different will they have to face? Why don't you find out more tomorrow? So I wonder what you like best about that story. I wonder why you think the king wanted his advisor not only to tell him the meaning of the dream, but also to tell him what the dream was in the first place. And I wonder why do you think they couldn't do it? What do you think of the king's demand that they should tell him about the dream? He was adamant that they needed to tell him about the dream. But I wonder, what do you think, whether you think that was a good thing to do or not? How do you think Daniel felt when he went to ask the king for more time? I wonder, why could Daniel give the king the answer? Who helped him? Who helped Daniel? I wonder if there's anything that really worries you, that makes you afraid, or makes things seem impossible. And I wonder if you think God can help you with this. I wonder. So we've heard how Daniel, Rakshak and Beni had a choice to make. They had a choice to make about what was going to happen, what they were going to face that day, how they were going to respond to King Nezzar. And they chose to pray. They brought their concerns, their worries to God and ask God to help them. And sometimes, well, often we all face challenges, and some can be more worrying than others. Adults worry about lots and lots of things, but I'm sure as children you worry about things too. It might be that you're starting a new school in September and whether you'll be making some nice friends. You might be worried about beginning a new class or trying something different. And when we're worried about something, it's important to share our worries with someone else, with a friend or a trusted adult. But we might also want to share it with God. We might want to talk to God about what we're doing, just like Daniel and his friends did. And we might not always hear what God is saying, but God does listen and reassures us that he is with us and will help us to overcome what challenges we face. Almost God gives us that strength to have a go and do something different. And just as yesterday, you had that stone that you're going to carry with you to remind you that God is with you. So today, we think that God is with us in the challenges that we face. For our prayer today, you might want to create your own scratch art, or you might have some scratch art at home if you're lucky enough. And scratch art is you've got some colour underneath, and then on the top you've got a layer of black. And so you might, as we're thinking, you might want to scrape off some of the black to and draw a picture of something that you're worried about. And you might want to bring that picture to life with some colour. So if you haven't got scratch art, it doesn't matter, just draw a picture about something you're worried about, or write something that you're worried about in bubble writing and colour that in really bright colours. Because by sharing our worries with God, somehow God shines a light on those worries and they seem a little less of an issue, and God can help us to face those challenges and those worries. I'm going to finish with a little prayer. Loving God, we thank you for being with us always. Help us when we're worried or scared to share that with you and those we trust, so that we can face the challenges head on, knowing that you are with us always. Amen. Thank you for listening and look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome to Spacecraft. Today's craft is all about dreams. There were some strange dreams in today's story, weren't there? But Daniel knew how to find out what they meant. Today we are going to make a dream catcher. In some cultures, people make dream catchers and hang them near their beds to help them have good dreams and to keep bad dreams away. We're going to make our dream catcher today using our paper plate circle, our wool, and our beads. Your beads will be in an envelope and you can see them through the little window there. So the paper plate circle, you can see, has got some little holes in it already, and we're going to weave the wool through the little holes across the middle so it makes a crisscross pattern like this. So get your wool and unravel a bit of it, quite a long bit. Gosh, that bit's so long, it's gone off the screen, both sides. Quite a long bit, and cut that off. Don't try to use all your wool at once because it's a really long bit of wool and you might get in a bit of a tangle with it with your paper plate. So with your bit of wool, you need to put it through one of your holes, doesn't matter which one, and tie it on. You might need to ask somebody to help you make a really firm double knot if that's not something you're confident with, so that it's ready, tied on, not going to fall off. And then you can start to weave your wool through the holes. Doesn't matter which hole you go down next, you can do them in any order you like. And there's the wool stretching across. So keep coming up and over, across the middle of the plate, through another hole. There we go. But we also want to add in the beads. So you can add them in whenever you like, wherever you like. It's your design, you choose. So carefully tip your beads out of your envelope. Try not to drop them on the floor. They're very small and they do roll away. You might need a little pot or something to put them on, or a plate. And then when you want to add a bead, just thread it onto the end of your wool. Put your wool across like you did before into your hole on your plate, and then you'll have a bead in the middle of the wool. There it is. Now sometimes it can get a little bit tricky to get the beads to stay on the wool, to get to the end of your wool through the beads. That can get quite tricky. If you're having a bit of trouble with that, you might need to use a bit of sellotape, just a tiny bit of sellotape. And if you wrap that really tightly, or you might even need to ask a grown-up to help you, wrap it really, really tightly around the end of your wool, and that will make your wool much smoother and less fluffy. And that makes it a lot easier to slide it through the beads. There we go. Now, when you get towards the end of your bit of wool, you need to tie a knot again so that it stays nice and secure on your plate, and then you're ready to start the next bit of wool. Same again, tie it on, put it through the loop, through the holes, however you want to do it. Add your beads wherever you want them to be. Just keep going. You don't necessarily need to use all your wool, although you can do if you want to. See how it goes, see how much you want to use. Keep going until it's how you want it. But make sure that you keep at least a little bit of wool, because we're going to need a little bit for hanging it up in a minute. So I would say you need to keep probably about that much wool, a little bit of wool like that spare. So once you've got your beads and your string how you want them, that's when you can decorate round the edge of your plate. If you want to, you can do a pattern or some pictures or whatever you want around there. And then you need to add a loop to hang it up by. Now you can tie your loop on by tying your wool through the hole, which is what I've done there, or you can make a loop and sellotape it onto the back, whatever you prefer to do. And then there it is, finished, your dream catcher. You could hang it up somewhere in your bedroom perhaps. I wonder what sort of dreams you'll have. There's our dream catcher to help us remember Daniel interpreting those dreams. So that's today's craft. I hope you have fun making it, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more spacecraft. Bye for now.
Captain's log, stardate 3.1472. Following our instructions from Mission Command, we have arrived at the Delta Quadrant and are currently in orbit around the planet known to its inhabitants as... The crew is assembling a landing party. I say, chaps, what on earth are you doing?
You said we should assemble a landing party. No sort of jolls, I'm afraid. But this is the best we could do in short notice.
Not that sort of party. A landing party lands on the planet, looks at things, interferes a bit, and then escapes to the ship in the nick of time.
Reporting for duty, Captain. I am ready for the landing party. I have got my night vision binoculars, day vision binoculars, and sun visor. I have got my sonic screwdriver, sonic secateurs, and my sonic handkerchief. I have also got some sandwiches, a spare bottle of water, and some sun cream. My phaser is set to stun and my phone is on vibrate so as not to disturb any aliens when we get there.
Great, thanks, Spot. So come on everyone, to the transporter. Stop. I forgot the special emergency kit issued by Mission Command.
Captain, what's this?
Well, in my expert opinion, honed in the finest restaurants in Paris, it's jelly.
No, it's not. It's an alien and we're all doomed.
Gosh, how exciting. Do you think it's alive?
It moves, so it's life, Kim, but not as we know it.
If we have indeed discovered an alien life form, then the next logical step is to make contact with it.
Spot on, Spot. My name is Captain Kim from the starship Watling Valley. We come in peace with messages from Mission Command. Take us to your leader.
Well, it looks like it's wobbling in this direction. Quick, let's go.
Fallen for my wicked jelly trap have Captain Kim and his crew. Now waste their time they will, wandering around this planet looking for jelly, and won't have time to spread the good news of Mission Command. Here they come. Hiding am I.
Well, this looks just like the place where we started. Ah, but there's another alien over here. Perhaps it can show us the way.
The ground is the same, the setting is the same, that crater is the same, and the alien looks remarkably similar to the first one we met. It would therefore be logical to assume that this is the place where we started.
But it cannot be. The first place didn't have this bad smell.
Yes, now that you mention it, it is a bit whiffy.
Bit whiffy? It's horrendous. Even I can smell it, and I'm a hologram.
There's only one person who smells that. And that's our dastardly enemy, the evil Oda.
Oh, I say, he's not here, is he?
He's behind you.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's behind you.
He's not there. Quick, run to the transporter.
Oh, back so soon? You spoiled my nap.
That was a bit close for comfort. Oh, what's up, Cook?
Oh, the poor alien. It looks like it's been crushed.
It's okay, Cook. It's just jelly after all.
That's as may be, but it did a very convincing impression of an alien. There were a couple of close shaves there. Just as well we had our emergency kit from Mission Command.
But Captain, I had all the kit that we needed. What could have possibly been in our emergency kit from Mission Command that we needed?
Looks like we can have a landing party after all.
Three, two, one, go, 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 go.
God made the whole wide world. He made it all so good somehow. But the world is not the same. People are to blame. Let's find out what God thinks of it now.